And it's a great day at the Pirate Broadcast. I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the fact that you're here, all the gratitude in the world. And I'll look at the phone in LinkedIn because we're doing LinkedIn Live. We're also doing Facebook Live, YouTube live streaming, and Periscope as well. And then also, I know we're going to be talking about podcasting because I'm a fan and Mark is a fan as well. So we're going to be talking about what that means and what is happening in the market today. And I really appreciate the fact that we have some people in the audience, in the community that are out doing podcasting. Mark, good morning. Good day. How are you this fine afternoon? I know you're recovering from a cold and some
it's
downtime. So
it's early afternoon here in the UK.
yeah.
Weather is miserable as ever, so that's pretty standard for where we are.
So a normal day.
Just getting over being unwell, which maybe we can talk about perhaps why I've been unwell, overdoing it, and it takes its toll. You can't keep doing 15-hour days, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about why you're in this situation right now, because you have been in the podcasting arena. You've been in business for a while now, and you started this platform called Spot a Guest, which I'm a member of. And we met on LinkedIn, and then you had launched this Spot a Guest community, which is a phenomenal community, by the way. I've brought people in. I've met people there. I'm still connecting with people there. And one of the challenges that we always see is running a community is not necessarily as simple as just launching a website and saying, have a nice day, go play. So let's talk about how you thought about creating this, how you created this, and what's the master plan behind it, Mark?
Okay, so I don't pretend. The irony about all this is that I don't pretend to be a podcasting expert. I'm not. I'm a newbie. I'm a beginner. But what I am is I've been on a lot of podcasts as a guest. Mm-hmm. Loved it. It's been fantastic for my career, more visibility, credibility, more opportunities, collaboration. So over the years, done bucket loads. The problem I always had was, how do you find a host who's looking for a podcast guest? It's very difficult. Very difficult. So I wanted to do something for myself, and it's just blown up. So what did I do? I started off last September with a very simple email list. And all I did was I found hosts who were looking for guests, went out once a week, and that was going fantastic. The problem that then started to happen, or the nice thing I suppose that then started to happen, was where people were messaging me and saying, Mark, I'd like to do more than just an email list. I'd like to chat to others, meet others, connect with others, get advice, share best practice, do a load of other things that are community related. What can we do? So I thought, I've no idea. So I looked into it. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not a fan. Slack didn't really have the functionality that I needed. And someone out the blue told me about Mighty Networks.
Yeah.
Mighty Networks is a platform to allow you to build a community. Once I found that, I then had a home to put this place. And I created that mid-December last year. They're probably the worst 2 weeks you can start anything. And I just started telling people. And since then now, if you fast forward to, where are we? Nearly the end of February, 2,500 members in there now. And what are they doing? They are finding hosts, finding guests, getting best practice, learning, getting education, finding resources, promoting their shows, and so on. And the funny thing is that people think I'm involved in everything going on there. I'm not. What I'm involved with, and which is what's taken its toll, is just trying to grow it. It's tough. You've got to market. Anyone who says, build it and they come, that's a Hollywood film. Yeah. That's not real life. And they don't come. They don't show up. We're not celebrities. I'm not Denzel Washington. No one just turns up because we're famous. So you have to work it and work it and work it. And even when you're tired, you got to keep pushing. So I'm in the background. Connecting on LinkedIn has been my primary place of doing it. Connecting, encouraging people to join. And I'm also the guy in there responding to everyone, replying to everyone, helping everyone. There's no team. It's just me. I'm on it 15 hours a day. It's global. I've got people messaging me at 12 midnight, 1 in the morning. I'm on the phone. I'm in supermarkets. I'm replying nonstop.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, maybe some of that is my own fault. We have a sense now with the world that you have to respond instantly. You have to look after the customer. Otherwise, they're going to slag you off no end on social media. You're rubbish and you didn't reply. But the net effect of that is your health. You either have to get a team, pay people, or
Uh-huh.
you have to just say, I can't do all this. I can't work 14, 15-hour days every day, week in, week. I'm working weekends non-stop with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. Enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. I love the community. It's got a great spirit about it. I'm meeting some really cool people. And the most important thing, people message me all the time. They are finding guests for their shows. They are finding opportunities for themselves. They are getting more listeners, more guesting opportunities, and hooking up with people. So it's working. But what I will say, though, just like any other social media platform,
Hmm.
okay, you have to put some effort in. A lot of people show up, and maybe this is social as well. They show up, they shout, hello, look at me, and then they disappear. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You're not Oprah Winfrey. People aren't going to waiting to phone you.
Yeah.
Okay. So put in a little bit of effort, photo, bio, the usual suspects, information about you, but all the people are there. 2,500, and it grows every day. I've got some great people in there who are, recommending others to join and hook up and come and join and stuff. It's all free, no money for any of this. So people say, Mark, where's the money in this? No idea. I have no idea. I earn like 8 pence a month out of Amazon from it. Okay, nothing, nothing. Okay, all right. So anyone who says, "Oh, affiliate," you're going to earn a fortune, you don't. That's
Yeah.
another myth we
The
can talk
affiliate
about.
game is getting more challenging all the
Oh,
time.
you don't
It's all
trust
the
me
time.
on this. You don't. You're lucky if you go. I have a bookshop, and all the books are authors who are members of Spotter Guests. So they're not my books; they're their books. Got about, I don't know, 180 books in there. I've earned £3, I think,
Yeah.
okay, in total. So, but I just enjoy bringing people together. I enjoy connecting. One of the interesting things is that everything in there is not mine. I have no courses, books, webinars, training. How can I? I have no credibility as an expert in podcasting. I'm still got the iPhone headset, okay? So I'm not an expert and I don't pretend to be. But what I do is I recommend people to the experts. So I promote other people's courses, books, trainings, whatever.
Sounds like more like an agent than
An agent, a connector, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
because
you can broker. So I
and
want to
I
talk
just
about
bring
this.
people. Yes.
I want to talk about this because it sounds like you're at a point where you've started something that scratched an itch for yourself. You had an idea, it's like, how do you connect A with B? And there's really no marketplace for that in podcasting. It's probably like the first real estate broker that decided, hey, somebody's selling a house and somebody wants to buy a house. There's possibly an idea, an opportunity in between. So the first person in line to do something like this, like yourself, is, the one that gets all the arrows and, the has to go through all the disasters and all the challenges along with that whole process. And I know for a fact, Mark, based on my experience, because I'm, doing very similar things with the pirate broadcast. I broadcast 5 days a week, and getting guests has not been my challenge. I'm booked. I think I'm almost booked completely through March for 5 days a week. So that process is, I've got that pretty well organized. And what happens though is anytime you create a large organization where you got a lot of managed people, is that you have to have helpers. There are people out there that are in your community that if you put out the mention and said, hey, would you like to volunteer to be an admin for some of these channels that are overwhelming me because I can't do it alone, and when you try to do something alone, it doesn't allow others the opportunity to grow.
Okay.
So turn it around rather than saying,
Okay.
I have to do this, say, I get to do this, and I want to help others get to do this.
Okay.
And
That's great advice. Okay.
so that simple mindset, that shift is allows you to say, okay, let's recruit a couple of people that can actually do this with me. You know, you're not making any money in there. So it's a community. It's a true community. So you're not losing any money, or you're not having to pay somebody to help you along the way.
Okay.
The thing that you have to do as the founder and the person that has the vision is be this, you know, the CEO, the person that's directing where this place is going. That way it's a beautiful thing because the community will go where the community will go.
Well, exactly. You know, and you know, I give them all the tools that they need
Yeah.
to create whatever
Mighty
they
Networks
want,
is a powerful tool.
and it's fantastic. I've got to say, fantastic platform. And I just, you know, try and give them ideas, try and connect as many as I can. I would just love a great place where an incredible amount of people connect, find what they're looking for: guests, hosts, advice, information, resources, whatever that is, all in one place. That's
Yeah.
my vision. Monetization, no clue, no
Yeah.
clue. And to be frank with you, life's been good to me. It's not, I don't have to worry about, you know, is my next mortgage payment going to get paid from the Amazon affiliate stuff? Don't have to worry about any of that. So, and I just do stuff with a genuine belief that I can help people. And if they just perhaps listened a bit more or took part a bit more, they'd realize that, you know, if I say to a lot of people, you know, if I could put you in a room with 2,500 other people all interested in the podcasting space,
Uh-huh.
that might be a good day out for you. That might be a reasonable opportunity for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And when I frame it like that, most people go, okay, yeah, no, I can understand that. And so, but like anything, you know, it takes time. I'm a bit impatient. I'm middle-aged. I want everything yesterday. And maybe your advice is sound. I need to delegate more. I need to find some people in there who I can say, you know, can you answer, you know, just the West, you know, just the time zone problem that
Yeah.
I have. Okay.
Solve one problem at a
Yeah,
time.
between 10 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock in the morning, can someone just reply to people? Because I can't.
Because here's the
And I
short.
get people messaging me saying, why didn't you reply? And I'm like, I'm in bed. What's wrong with you?
You come on the pirate broadcast and you say, I'm working as fast as I can, folks.
I'm in the supermarket. I'm in the road. I can't go any quicker.
It's I can't respond any quicker. So, you know, the beauty of what we're doing here is that there are very few rules that tell us what we need to do. That's the whole point of the pirate broadcast, is the fact that it it doesn't require rules to decide what we want to do with it. And I think a couple of things. My notice, you know, from being in the that I noticed from being in the group is that people are friendly, people have been courteous, they're willing to help, and I don't know that you have to put as much effort in there as you have been doing, because I think when you reduce some of the things that you're putting in there, that opens up a vacuum where other people can actually contribute to that.
Okay. Well, that's good advice as well, because one of the things I very rarely hear, but occasionally I do, is
Mhm.
that people don't understand that when they have a private chat with someone on there, I don't see it. It's just like LinkedIn or Facebook. I have no
Uh-huh.
involvement in anything that's private. So I don't get a sense of how busy the place really could be
Yeah,
because I see all the public activity.
yeah.
So there could be a lot
It's
bubbling
an
away
active,
under the surface.
yeah, it's an active community, Mark, and I think if you allow others and you get a couple of recruits to make sure that the comments are being moderated, and also that the conversations are continuing, and you have a couple of contributors. I'm going to have on I think on Friday I'm going to have Yam. Yam is from Zest IS, and he's built a community of people that are creating content in written format
Okay.
primarily, and some of that stuff you can you could actually curate information and drop it in there that doesn't take a lot of time of and it doesn't require you to respond. So
Okay.
getting creative with those pieces of the puzzle are really a strategy for long-term growth. This isn't a marathon. This is a marathon, not a sprint, you know?
Well, the word that I've tried to encompass, sometimes well, sometimes badly, for 2020 is scale. I need to learn how to do things at scale better. I'm the greatest one-to-one guy on everything. Want to speak to you, fine, book in the calendar. Want to talk to you, want to train you. Everything's one-to-one. That's
Yeah.
not scalable.
That's
You
not
need to
scalable.
you need to find tools and find ways of scaling one. So now, for example, I did a whole episode on. I've done over the years about 240 radio interviews. My career, I've been fantastic for my career. The podcast guesting, brilliant. Radio interviews as well, fantastic. But how do you get on the radio? Radio is very different to podcasting. It's not recorded, it's live, it's fly by the seat of your pants. How do you do it? What do you do? What do you say? What not to say? And I've mastered all that. I've done so many. Go-to guy for the BBC and Sky News and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, how do I teach that at scale? So I did an audio recording, put it on SoundCloud, and now anyone in the community, 32 minutes, you can listen to that. Doesn't mean Mark has to do it one-to-one. So I'm learning slowly. Scale is the way to go when you have a lot of people that you need to get information across to.
That's like I'm getting ready to launch a platform called the Pirate Syndicate.
Okay.
Now, what that allows people to do, much like you shot an email out this morning about Alutu or
yes,
which is, I actually own Podcast Your Brand. I used to teach podcasting, and I taught university and podcast movement and a lot of people how to start. I've probably started and helped produce over 1,000 podcasts, right?
Okay. Fantastic.
I love live because I don't like editing.
Okay.
So the Pirate Syndicate, though, is all of the automation to scale your business. And what you need to do is show up and be the guest, be the host, and have that. So we build out your show, we create your entire process, and we use like networks like, your network, like on a Spot a Guest, and we collaborate with people. And the people that don't have the time to do the technology, they're overwhelmed by the technology. They don't have time to do all of the graphics and the efforts and, processing and posting and all of that stuff on social media. So
there's two things I think is really important that if I've learned. Okay. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to be, but what I will say is this. Number one, I think a lot of people make out podcasting is very complex, very complicated. It's not.
It doesn't have to be at all.
It doesn't have to be. iPhone, headset, you got a podcast. It's as simple as that. It may not be the greatest sounding intros, outros, musics, guests, and blah, 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 but it's a podcast. That's point number one. Stick it on Anchor, get yourself a cover with Canva, free, you're up and running with a podcast in 20 minutes. So it doesn't need to be. And I think a lot of people get caught up in this, spending months planning and preparing and buying, and they spend a fortune on equipment. Don't need any of that, folks. Not at the beginning, unless you really want to make a very serious sound thing going on. The second thing I want to say is that the technology has moved on considerably from where it was when you started this. I mean, I've been going 5 minutes, okay? And the biggest factor that I couldn't do was editing. I had no clue. I looked at Audacity, and that to me is like, the Starship Enterprise. No clue. And here's the thing, Russ, don't want to have a clue. Don't want to spend 2 hours matching and I'm not interested. And then someone in the community recommended Alitu to me. And I tried it. And if someone like me at my age, no hair, middle-aged, not technical,
no hair, don't care,
can set up and have a good sounding podcast thing in 5 minutes with the sound, with everything done for you, that to me was the greatest thing I've ever found. Fantastic. So I just want to get across to people that it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to. It's not complex, complicated. Yes, what I would spend your money on, and this is the final thing I'll say, is don't spend your money on equipment to start with. You got to spend the money on marketing.
Yeah.
You got to get people to find out and listen to it. You got the greatest show, the greatest recording, the greatest microphone with the boom and the sound and the ba 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 ba. But no one listens. You've got to market it. That's where you need to get advice and spend your money.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Hey, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the room right now. Greetings from UK, Shatra, Wendy. Good morning, Wendy. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. Thank you so much. I love the fact that you're here. Fred Costa, thank you for continuing about podcasting. You know, we've been podcasting for a long time, Mark. So Gabriel is in the room. He's starting a podcast. I had a conversation with Gabriel the other day. I'm not sure if you're in Spot a Guest, but join Spot a Guest. Love to have you there. Wendy, Mark Shaw, you helped me find hosts that want to hear my stories. So you're making an impact, Mark. I just want to make sure that you know that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Sherry
you.
Lawley.
Thank you, Wendy.
I'm very familiar. Sherry Lawley's familiar. She's a amazing individual that is always helping somebody. So Vicki ONeill, antisocial Mark Shaw. Good to see
Hi,
you.
Vicki. Yeah, I've been on Vicki's show. It's fantastic. Thank you, Vicki.
Yes. Jennifer, Debbie Wymas, thank you so much for joining us. Good to hear you from Miami. Angie, good morning from Wisconsin. So said that yesterday to Russ. I forgot what we were saying, but actually I said the right people will come at different times. The right people will show up, Mark, when we need them. So that's
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, again, for some reason, maybe it's just the 2020 seems to be the year everyone and their auntie want to start a podcast. Everybody wants to start a podcast.
I don't know. There's already 800,000 podcasts.
But that's nothing. You can look at YouTube and the other social platforms. That's half. That's nothing. So it's at the very early stages. So the opportunity is there for everyone with a story to share it, to get it out there. So never think who would listen to my story, who wants to know about my story. Trust me, there are people who are interested. So the key message really is don't have a podcast for everybody. Have a podcast for a specific group of people. A podcast to everybody is a podcast to nobody.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing that I've been learning and whatever. Trying to please everyone, trying to have a show about everything gets you no listeners. You need the more niche. And the same with being a guest.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who try and want to be guests, which is fantastic, but they won't become a guest because they are too woolly with how they describe it. I'm a coach, I'm a leader, I'm an expert. Doesn't get you on a show. What gets you on a show is being very targeted with what you can do, what you're going to bring to the party, and most importantly, what the host listeners will get from you being on. All the host cares about are their listeners. And if you're bringing value to their show, to their listeners, they'll have you on every single show on the planet around your topic of expertise. Or if all you do is talk about yourself, your book, you're this, no host is interested. It doesn't add value to their listeners.
Yeah. If you come on the show and pitch your stuff, that's not a very good experience for the host.
And it adds no value to the listeners either. The host cares about them, and you need to pitch what are you delivering for them? And when you do more of that and be very specific, that's when you get more guest opportunities. And once you do a good guest opportunity, guess what? More hosts will contact you because you've been a great guest. It just is a revolving door, goes round and round.
Well, John Asperian posted a great post on yesterday, I believe, or the day before, about how to be a great guest on a podcast. And it was, it's a lot of the things we're talking about, Mark. It's the idea that, add value to the community of the podcast. Make sure that you show up. You make sure that you have, your audio and your lighting and everything else that's going on. I mean, it's several tips. So if you're on LinkedIn, go track down John Asperian. Vicki ONeill, she's also shared quite a few great tips on podcasting elements. And you don't have to make it complicated either. It doesn't have to be complicated.
I've got headset. This
Yeah.
is not, most of the people you see, have all the technical and the windshields, and it all looks like, oh my God, it's a Hollywood production. It doesn't have to be. But of course, you are representing your brand. So be professional, show up on time, be respectful of the other people's time. Yeah. It's a podcast. It's sound. It needs to sound good. If you are in a noisy place with a Kango drill going off, it ain't going to work. It sounds obvious, but you'll be amazed. Okay. All right. And likewise, listen to one of the tips I always tell people, which I don't understand why more people don't do this, Russ, is why not, as a guest, record a little audio snippet, stick it on SoundCloud, stick it on Anchor. It's all free. As your demo of you, your voice, your sound, your personality, and why you want to be on the show, why you want to be a guest. That does two things. When the host then gets the link to that recording, they can hear you. It's a podcast. They want to know what you sound like. Why does everyone fill out a form? It doesn't tell you what I sound like. Okay, it's good for video. It's not good for audio.
No.
So do a little snippet. Tell them, give them your humor, give them your personality, give them the sound of why you want to be on there. Sell yourself and drive the host to as amongst other things, to listen to you. That, I think, is a great way to get you out of what everyone else is doing. This email, can I be on your show? I think I'll be a good match. Can I be on your show? You get hundreds of those. That's not going to get you anything. This is a bit different.
It's almost the same thing when you get a connection request in LinkedIn, and the next message 2 seconds later is, "Hey, can I sell you something?" It's like,
exactly.
That's here. The thing that I'm going to create a spoof video or something like that, just specifically for those people about what not to do. And Mark, a couple of things I want to make sure that we cover before we take off today is that, I want everybody to join me on Spot a Guest. I'm also, I'm in this for the long haul, the marathon. I've been doing this a lot of years. I got in advertising in '85. So, marketing, advertising, technology, all this stuff. So it's been a few days, right? And there's very few things that I haven't experienced personally. And I've had some massive, amazing failures on what not to do. So, and that's that's the reason why I'm here, to help other people do this. So I love having a conversation with interesting people doing interesting things. And I wanted to thank you, Mark, to come on board and talk about this. And I think a couple of things, you don't have to do this alone. There are people out there that are willing to help if you ask the question, build a team around your goal, and have board members, like a mastermind group, that can give you some feedback and say, Mark, relax. This will take care of itself. And also allow yourself, and it doesn't have to be official board. You don't have to, you can have people on the board members. But this, I think this, you got to hustle, you got to crush it. All these things are just really, it's counterproductive in the long run, because I see so many people start something like that. They 100 miles an hour, they flame on, and then they burn out, and then they go away, and it doesn't help anyone.
Russ, I put a post out, I think last week, where I basically said, winning is not being in the gym at 3 a.m. and coming back for a vegan green fruit juice smoothie. Winning is getting up at 11:30 in the morning, looking around the room and going back to bed for another hour. That's winning, okay? And all this nonsense, you got to work 91 hours a day. It's not winning. It's killing yourself. You can't do it. But people are made to feel bad because they're not doing it, and they think they're failing or they're losers or whatever. You're not. You just can't do that volume of stuff. And your advice is correct. I need to take more time to find the right people, to find a team, to do less, be more productive with my time, to scale and to focus. You're spot on.
And I love the Pirate broadcast. I love the Pirates, and we're closing in on 100 episodes now. Mark. And this is a movement around kindness. I mean, you know, it's the whole premise. I do things and I wake up and I find joy in my day. You know, every day is a gift, you know.
Yes.
Let's not kill ourselves to prove a point. Let's enjoy life and make sure that we're there tomorrow for the people that love us and care for us and around us. So
And you know what? You're right. But I feel guilty if I take a day off.
you don't feel guilty.
An hour off. If I take an hour off, I'm feeling bad. Could something have happened? I didn't respond. Excuse me. I do feel bad, genuinely.
We need intervention, Mark. Call me when you're feeling bad.
I know. We need someone to just say, slap on head, have a lie in. It'll work its way out. It's not a disaster.
It's okay, Mark.
But typically, though, Russ, the only time where we take a slow moment is when we're ill, and I've been ill, and so I had to take it. The last 4 days, I felt so much better because
did anybody lose an eye? Did anybody lose a podcast?
Nothing.
Nothing happened.
Nothing. I'm getting my voice back. It's fantastic. Nothing happened.
So anyway, I'm just here. I just want to share with everybody that we're a community. We got to stick together as a community. We got to help each other out. There's always going to be somebody that can actually, you know, fill your soul when you need it and say that special opportunity, that message that you need to hear once in a while. Just be open to hearing it. That's what life is all about. So
good advice, Russ. Good advice.
What's the one thing you want to leave with the world today if you had to share a gift today with everyone?
I think what you just said is spot on. I think more people need to just go, you know what, I'm human. Don't need to work 19 hours a day. It's impossible. And to take it slower, as you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Get the right help, get more people involved to help you, and don't feel you have to do it all on your own. I think would be great advice for anybody.
Well, Mark, I appreciate the fact that you're here. If you're not connected with Mark on Spot a Guest, go ahead, reach out, connect. And if you're there in Spot a Guest, connect with me. You know, I'm happy to have a conversation with you and offer any assistance I can. And for all the pirates out there, I know that we had a lot of them: Sean, Sherry, Gabriel, Lori, AJ, all of the people that join and support the Pirate Broadcast, all the gratitude in the world. And as you know, kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day. Till next time, Mark.